Me and Ray Allen have something to say about that.
Oh, that's where you're going to go.
We might have something to say about that as far as clutch duel. I mean...
You know what? That's a fair point.
I'm just saying, we talk about clutch duel.
Yeah.
We might have something to say about that.
Okay.
But, I mean, they got Curry, Klay, Curry, Durant, LeBron, Kyrie.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good... And then Jordan and the towel boy. Anybody with Jordan.
Jordan.
Anybody with Jordan.
You're just going to do Scotty like that, man.
I mean, anybody with Jordan. You know, Jordan, Scotty, Jordan and the popcorn man, Jordan and the towel boy. I mean, Jordan is like, come on, the ultimate clutch man. So, I mean, I think we got to wait until this run is over. Let's see what happens. Let's see if they can put together a championship together, and then we'll, you know, rediscuss this and where they rank as clutch duel. I mean, Kyrie clearly has some big moments in the finals. Let's see if Luka can have some big moments in the finals. They will be in the finals. And if he can duplicate what he did in this series in the finals, it's going to be hard to argue against this, Skip.
No, they got a long ways to go, in my opinion, Skip, because the history of basketball is obviously rich. You know, Paul, Ray Allen, they got some moments. Klay and Steph, they got moments. Pippen and Jordan, they got moments. Shaq and Kobe, they got moments. But all these people got rings.
Yeah.
So, you know, Western Conference Final, and you knocking down shots late in the game, and you taking control in the fourth quarter, that's still, it's cute and everything, but the ultimate prize at the end of the day is finishing the deal, right? And then once you finish the deal, then we can really start to have a conversation about where they belong in the history of clutch players and things of that nature, because right now we're prisoners of the moment. They deserve everything that they get and all the accolades from the television personalities that are talking about them. They deserve it all. There's no question about it. But yet and still, you got to finish it, because all of a sudden you play the Boston Celtics, which we assume is going to, you know, have an easy cakewalk here tonight against Indy. They'll be rested. June 6th, they roll up. And what if the Mavs go into Celtic land and they get swept 5-1 on a gentleman's sweep? Now everything we talking about clutch, Skip, guess where that goes? Back in the trash.
Yeah.
So let's wait and see. They certainly are on fire and heading in the right direction, but it's just so early. It's so early for these conversations. I know they're good conversations, but it's just early.
It's just getting late early, as Yogi Berra once said.
Maybe. Yeah. But a lot of these guys that we talking about have done this multiple years at different stops along the way. I mean, that's all I'm saying.
All right. All I know is they are starting to make a case. They are starting to make a case. Only because they're up against the #1 defense, and Jaden McDaniels was second-team All-NBA. You have to...
Starting to feel like that defense is a fraud.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. But that's true, but they're making it look fraudulent. They just are.
No, they are.
Because these two guys, just in a vacuum, Kyrie and Luka, they're pretty special, man.
No doubt.
Hey, when they need to create and make a shot, they're up there all time with the best I've ever seen. And the point is, they are figuring out how to do it together, because trust me on this, last year it did not work. So I kept track of this. Once Kyrie joined Luka, Luka did not like it last year because he thought they were saying to him, well, you can't close. We brought in a guy who's a legit closer. We need somebody who can really finish the deal here. So Kyrie took over, and Luka pouted the whole last, I don't know, where'd they play together? It was almost 3 months last year.
Yeah, they was trying to figure it out.
And here's the final score of those two playing together last year in fourth quarters. Kyrie took 103 shots to Luka's 50 shots while they were on the floor together in the fourth quarter, because Luka would just give it up. It's like LeBron in the fourth quarter against Denver in Game 1. Well, you guys do it. You guys. And Luka would just say, you do it. You do it. That's why they brought you here. You do it. 103 to 50 shots. That's more than double the shots that Luka took in the fourth quarters in the time they're on the floor together. Not apart, together. 103 to 50. Well, so far in these playoffs, Kyrie is still in the fourth quarter taking some more shots. It's 80 to 67. But Luka is clearly happy with the way it's sort of figured itself out, or they figured it out.
You've been following this, Skip, since last year or whatever. But was Luka a closer before Kyrie got there?
Absolutely.
Was he deadly like this before Kyrie got there?
Yes.
Is some of Kyrie's behavior rubbing off on Luka to where Luka now has even more confidence that I'm going to be able to just shut the door on these people?
It's a good question, but I'm with Paul on this.
Yes.
He was definitely a closer, and I felt bad for him because Kyrie, listen, we know Kyrie closed one for LeBron in Game 7, made that shot, obviously, in 2016 to win it all at Oakland. Okay, so here's a Jason Kidd quote from last night after the game, and I thought this was very telling. He said, Kai's been around the block. He's been with great players. He doesn't mind being second or 1B, and you just don't find a lot of times that happens in this league. Would you agree that a great player comes in and says, I will be 1B? Because as of right now, it looks like Luka is 1A. Doesn't it come across that way?
I mean, 100%. I mean, but listen, Kyrie came to Luka's kingdom. Like, you don't just come from another kingdom to another guy's kingdom and try to sit on his throne.
Yeah.
You have to be his right-hand man. Yeah. And once he understood that, that's what's making this work. You know, you can't come and just sit on my throne. You came to my kingdom. This is the Luka Dončić kingdom, Kyrie. We brought you over here to help us not be the new king of the kingdom. We brought you over to help us get through these wars as the right-hand man. And once Kyrie started understanding that this year, look, it's transpiring into them eventually going to an NBA Finals now.
It is.
And it looks so much better.
Yeah. Okay, but I thought we played that clip of Luka reacting to a question about Kyrie, really took over while you were sitting on the bench. And then he sort of chuckled and said, that's why some people call him Mr. Fourth Quarter, right? And it came across to me, maybe I'm reading too much in, it was a little sarcastic on Luka's part because I don't think he is so fiercely proud of who he is and what he is. He doesn't love having to cede some control in the fourth quarter to Kyrie because
you reading too much into it.
No, yes, he does.
No, you reading too much. You reading too much into it.
Just like earlier we said, who are the clutchest duels? And I mentioned me and Ray Allen. That's what it was because I knew at the end of games, all right, I'm most likely going to have some fingerprints on this. But at the same time, I know I got this other dude over here. He's super clutch also. So I don't mind him taking the pressure off of me. If something's drawn up for Ray, I'm good with that. Okay. I'm good with that. Or if I touch it and I have to swing it in the play, I'm confident in that. And that's what Luka sees in Kyrie. He's like, shoot, I know I'm the guy down the stretch, but I got another guy who's just as dependable, who I trust make or miss, that can help carry us over the top. And I believe in him. And when that main guy believes in that guy, and he knows it,
I get that it's Luka's team, and Luka was there first, and they traded the Trae Young swap, and it's his team, and he's taken them to the Western Conference Finals before. And I've watched Luka in the past. Kyrie has brought something different to him.
Sure, I agree.
Okay, it's helped him become almost a much better player. So when you look at it, when you look at him, Kyrie, and you sit there and you say, well, it's really Luka's, feeling a certain type of way. I don't think that's the case because he knows in order for them to beat the Celtics, it's going to be about Kyrie.
Well,
it's going to be about Kyrie.
It's going to be about both of them.
Well, he going to do what he does. Yeah. But Kyrie has to do his part for them to win a championship. What's the one thing out of all them right now, we talk about Luka, he hadn't done it. And Kyrie is there to help him do it. So if he wants to give backhanded compliments to Kyrie, then that's a mistake. That's a simple mistake if that's what he's actually doing, which I don't think he is, Skip. I think he realized I got a shot here with this dude on the floor finally getting the championship so all the Keyshawn Johnsons of the world can shut the hell up. That's exactly what he said.
He went to the Western Conference Finals. Who was his second best player?
Jalen Brunson.
No. Not at the time. Not at the time. This was...
No, it was Jalen Brunson.
It was.
Well, Jalen Brunson wasn't Jalen Brunson.
No.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't even.
He wasn't taking 50 shots a game.
He wasn't half of who he was the time they went to the conference.
No, but he was still good. He just didn't get a chance to.
He was solid.
But it's why Mark Cuban let him go to the Knicks.
Well,
right?
he misjudged the situation.
He did.
You know, Jalen Brunson started coming into his own the last year with the Dallas Mavericks. The last year, the last playoff run. But before that, when they went back to the conference finals a couple years ago, he didn't have a player that was close to all-star.
I don't know. All I remember is Jalen Brunson.
I'm going to
That's
look
it.
this up. I'm going to look, but I'm not even sure Jalen Brunson was the second best player there. It could have been Hardaway Jr. at the time.
Yeah, that's a good point. Could have been. Who's completely
out of the rotation.
Yeah, does he even play? Did he play last night?
Was just in such a terrible slump. He did. I don't think he got in the game.
No, he didn't play. Coach's decision. Yeah, I was like, what?
He was their second best player.
All right, to your point, Keyshawn, I do believe Kyrie has brought something to this team it did not have. I told you before, he's the leader of the team. I think the locker room looks to him. Luka leads Luka. Luka's sort of unto himself. Kyrie is there for everybody because Kyrie's got a ring and is a made man and has been there and done. He knows. And Luka, you can tell his priority is now to go win that ring because he's getting it. That's all that really matters over here in this NBA. You better just go win a ring, especially when the window opens. You better go get it.
Kyrie, from what I was told, Kyrie's out there 5-6 hours before the game, going through whatever routine he needs to get shots up and do. They were not doing that in Dallas before his arrival. Luka and those guys were not doing those sort of things
I believe that.
before his arrival. Now, all of a sudden, he's doing that. It's just something that's rubbing off on them as a team that they're in this situation where now they one game away from seeing the Celtics.
Yeah.
Just give the Celtics.
What usually happens
just give it up.
in these things when you have, say, Kawhi and Paul George, or let's go back to Russ and KD in Oklahoma City, it degenerates into they're looking at each other like, are you going to go or am I going to go? And that's easy to guard because the defense is like, well, what are you guys going to do? Because we're just sitting here waiting on you. This never looks like that. It has a flow to it, a rhythm to it where they feel each other's vibes. Like, is it your turn now? And you can see it's in their heads whose turn it is, right? It doesn't ever seem forced. It doesn't ever degenerate into just solo ball or iso ball. Well,
I think that, and again, Paul can speak to this more so than me, but I feel like the guy on the bench that's leading the charge is the head coach, and Jason Kidd. That was a traditional point guard that could score, but also can deliver and facilitate, but also could score when he needed to. And I think he's rubbed off on both of them to some degree.
Okay, and remember, both these guys can pass, especially Luka can pass. And really, you can look at the play of the game is he throws a left-handed lob up to Gafford.
It was over.
And it was an and one, okay? Then it's, and guess who kicked it to P.J. Washington in the corner for the go-ahead three?
Yeah.
Okay? Okay, that's what they're doing. They pick them to pieces, and it had flow to it where they realize they're on the same wavelength. Like, okay, now I got this.
No, you know what I can see? This is what I can see because, like, I like how they divvy up the possessions between them, how they take back and forth. And this is what I did notice. A lot of times if Luka gets the rebound, he'll throw it with Kyrie because Kyrie will play faster than him. Because Luka never really pushes the ball. So, it's like, here's your turn, Kyrie, because it's a fast break opportunity, and you can get to the hole more so than me in the fast break. Then half court, it comes back to Luka. So Kyrie gets those positions to where they're pushing it, where, Luka never runs. He never runs the break. He sort of jogs, and if he's tired, he gives it to Kyrie, and they do a good job at kind of like splitting that up and allowing Kyrie to get a rhythm. So that's where I noticed Kyrie just gets his rhythm is in transition.
So how long did it take you and Ray? How rocky did it get at first? Did you ever have tough times?
No, not at all. You got to understand, Skip, we are two different players. These guys are more similar, and a lot of times when you get players who are similar, they get in each other's way. We didn't get in each other's way because Ray was more of an off-the-ball, catch and shoot. Kyrie is on the ball, Luka's on the ball, and then you notice that with D-Wade and LeBron, they were kind of the same. They both actually needed the ball, and so it took time for them to kind of mesh. And so, like, the reason we meshed so well because we all had different skill sets. I can be on the ball, off the ball. Ray was mainly off the ball, catch and shoot, and so that's why it was a good rhythm between us from the start.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.